Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Noclip podcast. This is episode 84. It's me, Jesse Garasha, here again, keeping it on lock, holding it down. And I'm joined by the always lovely Frank Howley. Frank, how's it going?
Good. The summer of gaming. We're in like week 40 of summer of gaming.
Yeah, it never ends. It's always hot over here. We're 60% of the way through the year, eh?
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah. I hate that statistic, but it is true. And that means there's another 40% to go that gets to be the summer of gaming. I can't wait. But we also have we're not alone. You are still going to hear someone else while we're recording this because Danny O'Dwyer sent over a brief 6-minute message. So here's a little update from the Capitan of Noclip.
Hello friends, Danny here with an audio update. Thanks to Jesse for holding down the podcast, and to Frank, and I guess to Jeremy. You know, he just turns up. He doesn't really play video games. I'm kidding. He's developing them now as well. Check out Jane Dev episode 2. But I thought I'd jump in here. I know I've been away a lot of the summertime. I actually took my first bona fide vacation in quite a few years in June, which was really cool and special for my family. And then I sort of took the annual pilgrimage back to Ireland the past couple of weeks. I was doing some work, but mostly admin stuff. I had the best plans of mice and men to check in on, be on the podcast and do it remotely, but just when I got to Ireland, it was very clear that I was on sort of Ireland time and vacation time and family time, and that I couldn't really take the break, and all I was doing is playing Rogue Legacy 2 on my Steam Deck. So there's only like so many weeks of that you can hear, especially as we're working on a Rogue Legacy 2 doc at the moment. But I did want to jump in for a second because while I will be on next week's podcast, we're sort of entering a new era for Noclip. And the next couple of weeks are kind of, in many ways, the end of the old sort of era. For those of you who have been with us for a long time, obviously a number of years ago, a pandemic happened. Well, actually, before that, a number of years ago, we got a studio in Emeryville, and I was really excited because it was a studio that was, our landlords were a game development studio. We were using it to film really cool interviews. It was going to be a whole new breath of life for Noclip. And then obviously COVID fucked the entire thing up. And then sort of as part of that, I guess, sort of was going to save some money on rent and travel, but was also trying to hunker down to try and survive COVID. But then we sort of pushed all that funding over towards, expanding the team and expanding people's hours and responsibilities and all that sort of stuff, which was really cool. And that's how we're able to do the podcast now, because Jesse's around and Frank's around doing loads more. And Jeremy's now has been editing docs for basically 2 years, and he edited one video in the first 3 years of Noclip when my kid was born. The Dream Daddy doc. Check it out. But next week I am going to be touring offices in the North Bay. I'm moving from Oakland to Novato, not Nevada, Novato. And I'm looking at places up there so we can have a permanent spot for streaming and podcasting and collaborating creatively and filming stuff and getting out of the bedrooms as much as possible. Obviously, Jesse and Frank don't live in the North Bay, but for myself and Jeremy and a lot of the work we do, it'll be a really big shift. Hopefully, at least, COVID still has to sort of pipe down a little bit. But yeah, I'm excited for that. And next month is our 6th birthday, and I feel like having a studio set up, if we can get up by then, and we've got a bunch of really big sort of ideas for the channels, Noclip Crew. We are actually sitting on a bunch of videos for that at the moment. Getting that more regular once we have brick and mortar place to actually develop some of the shows that I had for that. It'll be a lot easier to produce them. It's just a lot of the sort of final cork in the bottle for a lot of the stuff I've been sort of trying to plan out for the past year is getting a place up there, and I'm very excited to finally be able to do it. So I just wanted to pop on before next week and say thanks so much for continuing to listen, and thanks to our patrons for continuing to support us. The other really cool part of all this is that over the past few weeks, especially as I was in Ireland, we were starting to have conversations with those big studios and with like cool indies about the types of docs that we sort of spent the first 3 years making. And I think we made some of our best work during COVID. We got way better at editing and storytelling and finding where the story was, and making really long docs when we needed to, and making them short when they felt sweeter, and not like, just trying to keep it nice and dense and full of vitamins and iron. And while that's the case, we were also, to a certain extent, sort of stuck doing the stories that were presented to us. We couldn't do the types of big docs that we wanted to. So I'm really excited to get back to doing those with everything we have learned as a team and as individuals. Certainly on my in my experience, or for me, I've definitely learned a lot about the work that I do and how I edit, and also not being such a control freak and letting all the creative people around me add in their spices, their spice melange into the mix. So yeah, that's it. I just wanted to come and say, hey, I hope you enjoyed this podcast, or maybe this is the end of the podcast. I don't know where Jesse put this, but he knows best. Although Jeremy's not in this podcast, he's away at the moment as well. Did I say that already? I can't remember. Rhode Island's weird. I'm tired. I'm jet lagged, and I'm talking to a microphone in a spare room. And that's it. Bye.
Yeah, we miss you, Danny. Come on back. Get on here. We miss your dulcet tones. We miss your Gaelic accent. It's a good thing that we miss, man. Come on. In the meantime, if you want to continue to support all the stuff that we're doing, patreon.com/Noclip is the place to go. You can support this podcast, which has no ads except for this, our documentaries. You get access to a bunch of bonus stuff, videos, podcast episodes, movie reviews, and access to the Discord, where we're always having fun conversations. While you're over there, you can also join the Battle Pass holders. We're going to be talking a lot about Battle Passes today as well. But you can join the list of people who are in the Noclip Battle Pass, including Cody Krieger, Aaron L. White, Forrest Pruitt, Cameron Ladd, George Zerkotis, Jacob Godserve, and Tohir Tiliev. All right. Those are the fantastic people that are helping us out, along with everyone else on the Noclip Patreon. Again, that link is patreon.com/Noclip. So Frank, speaking of helping us out and keeping everything on, keeping the lights going, you've got yourself a fancy-dancy new personal computer. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's amazing. I feel like I haven't really had the chance to break it in, but yeah, I'm surprised the operation went smoothly. It's like, it felt like switching computers feels like moving into a new apartment or doing like organ transplant surgery. But yeah, like my friend Jordan, who's a genius, who's like always helped me with computer stuff. Like I shipped all the parts to his place. He put it together. I still have to tweak where my capture card is inserted. We put it on like the wrong PCI slot, as if I even know what that means. But generally everything works smooth. It is so clean and fast. You turn it on, he immediately boots up. So I'm happy. Yeah, it's so funny. Like I haven't really like running through. I guess like the first game I played on it is I got it set up, and then I did about like, I would say like 6 to 8 hours of Rogue Legacy 2 gameplay capture for an upcoming Noclip project. And like, it's funny because that game is gorgeous, but it's not super demanding, but that ran great. And that was I had so much fun playing that game. I'm trying to think. I mean, honestly, Roller Drome, I haven't gotten it yet, but I might pick it up on Steam just to have something to play on the PC. So that might be the first game I break in on the new PC. But it runs great. I had to edit something in Adobe Premiere for a socials clip, and Premiere didn't have any of the 6,000 glitches I've grown used to. I'm sure it's going to have new glitches. I feel like every time you have a computer, stuff starts breaking down and you just adapt to it, but it felt weird being able to export something in Premiere and I didn't have just so many random bugs or pop-up failures or whatever. I've had the same machine, I think, since like 2015, 2016.
Oh my God.
We upgraded a bunch, but I'd never done a clean Windows install. So it's it's weird to have a working computer until I break it down and overload it.
What did you go with for this one? It's not Windows 10, eh?
No, it is Windows 10.
Okay, good.
My friend offered Windows 11, but I never trust installing into a new thing. The one thing I did that I indulge myself now is on Steam there's an app called Wallpaper Engine, which oh man, it is the coolest thing in the world. I got Wallpaper Engine. I immediately put like Mortal Kombat and Jigsaw wallpapers up, anime cat girls, Resident Evil, skeletons playing poker, Joe Camel. It is the coolest thing in the world. You can have dynamic wallpapers where there's like smoke and lights. So during the day, I'll have like some fun sunny wallpapers, and then at night, I flick on the Mortal Kombat 2 rain wallpaper.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know. I really recommend Wallpaper Engine. If you guys if you have any recommendations, let us know. It's so fun. Just I don't know. It feels like being at the swap meet or like a Comic-Con, just being like, what dumb thing am I into? Let me type it in. And there's millions of wallpapers out there. So, again, it's like, it probably isn't even a demanding app, but with this new PC, it's like, no, I can afford to have a bunch of resources wasted on a stupid wallpaper. Let's go. So, one thing with Wallpaper Engine, when you sign up for it and you like click in to search the community, there's a warning that says, warning, Wallpaper Engine has a lot of anime. You can toggle this, show anime or hide anime. Like, that is the developers.
I want that in real life.
Yeah. Show anime or hide anime, and I think that's the funniest. I have it show anime. I have show anime. But yeah, it's really really cool. So I recommend it.
Is it free, Wallpaper Engine, or
it's like $3?
Okay.
Yeah, which hey, I've had so much fun clicking through it. Like, it's absolutely worth it. So yeah,
Nice.
Wallpaper Engine on Steam rules.
Yeah, that sounds good because I mean, I just had the standard. I want like classics though. That's the thing, is I want the classic like wallpapers, like the 3D animated cubes and stuff you'd have on XP.
One I liked is someone had the Xbox, like the original Xbox, the like green sphere, the grid,
like the main menu thing.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, that's perfect. So it's people get
awesome.
really creative, and then you can export the wallpaper, because most of them are just kind of video loops, and then you can convert that into an MP4. So it's like I'm seeing some of these, and it's like, oh, I can steal these wallpapers for like a stream layout. Okay. So already well worth the $3.
It's not theft. You're borrowing it. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah.
I'll give it back later.
Open source, the hacker ethos.
Exactly. As long as it's all the anime stuff, because that's okay. As long as you got that toggled on. How have you been apart from that? How you been? Because last week it was your break, your mental health.
Yeah,
checkup
it's
of the
funny.
games.
Like,
doing all right? Yeah.
this week's been very busy, just working, getting through everything. But now I'm like looking forward towards PAX, which is now in 2 weeks. So it's like, okay, now I guess it's that thing where it's like, okay, I'm just gonna work nonstop for 2 weeks and then kind of have a fun vacation. I don't know. Well, it's I guess a working vacation, but like I haven't like booked anything, but there are some emails of like, check out this game, and I'm like, oh, okay,
Sure.
so I'll be excited to come back and report on stuff. It's really exciting. Like, I feel like PAX this year, finally developers are back after COVID and everything, so it feels like there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff to check out. And so yeah, I'm hopeful. And if you're going to PAX or have anything in mind, let us know, and maybe we can meet up at a booth and look for cool wallpapers together.
Yeah, check it out. Bring your Steam Deck, bring your laptops, show off your cool wallpapers to Frank Halley. We'll make a slideshow of them. We'll get him to put that together.
That'd be a good panel. Just here are the sickest wallpapers of all time.
You got to do it really dry too. Have out like your projector remote. Like, this one is the the Frank Halley special, and it's just Spawn drinking lean out of a styrofoam cup. Come on, get it going.
Todd McFarlane.
Ooh, fuck. You always drop a good little bomb like that. That's the name of the episode now. I have to Photoshop Todd McFarlane drinking out of a styrofoam cup. I can't wait. Are him and Seth MacFarlane created? They are created. Are they related? No.
No, because it sounds very similar. Like, you would think they're brothers, and there have been like, I've seen pictures on DeviantArt of Peter Griffin drawn as Spawn, in Seth MacFarlane's style. But yeah, and again, I think I said this. I was so sad I wasn't at Comic-Con this year because Todd McFarlane was everywhere. I got to meet him. I got to get a picture with Todd McFarlane.
Can't believe you haven't at this point.
I didn't get into Spawn until like a year ago. So
oh wow.
So like, I did not care about Todd McFarlane. But I was already into Image, so like the backstory of like, he is one of the founders. But now I'm all in on Todd McFarlane. He also he has the Mortal Kombat license, so all the cool Mortal Kombat toys are Todd McFarlane.
Oh shit, I didn't know that. That's really cool. I want to get like a Scorpion or something done.
Oh
by
man, I have
McFarlane.
a $200 Sub-Zero statue and then a $7 Katana figure, and I have them side by side. So it's like the fanciest statue and the crappiest little thing, and it's adorable.
Her face is all like marked up wrong.
Yeah.
The pink splotches aren't even on there. Nice. That's awesome. Did you read any more Ghost Rider, by the way? You started
no,
checking that out. No,
I went to the comic shop today because Marvel put out a brand new Ghost Rider book this year, and I was like, oh, I want to like start. So the comic shop had 2, 3, and 4, and I was like, well, I can't. They don't have 1, but I think next week or in 2 weeks they're putting out a Ghost Rider trade paperback of the first like 5 issues. So I'll jump into that and then take a look. But in the world of comic books, there's a new comic book I recommend called Do a Power Bomb. I think the name, I almost said the username. The author is Daniel Warren Johnson. Writer and illustrator. Her style is super rad. The premise of Do a Power Bomb is it almost feels like Tekken or Mortal Kombat, where it's like a tournament of fighters wrestling to the death. I think is how the premise is sold, but it's super, super rad. Do a Power Bomb. It's a wrestling comic book. It's amazing. It's amazing. And even in the first issue, I think in the back or the opening, Daniel Warren Johnson said like he didn't get into wrestling until the pandemic, and he started watching AEW and Japanese wrestling, and now he is so obsessed with it. And when you read the comic book, it's so like well written, and it's like, oh, this guy gets it. So it's really, yeah, it's super sick. Do a Power Bomb off of Image. Check it out. It's really, really good.
Nice. There's a cover here that's got an orangutan and a gorilla ready to fight. It looks like a shark, or not conquistador. What are the Mexican wrestlers called?
Luchador.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Same thing. There's a door at the end. And a martial artist. This looks great. I kind of want to read this really badly now.
It's super good. I just picked up issue 3 today. It's going to be a total of 7. So if you do just wait a few months, you'll be able to get it as a trade. But I really adore collecting things monthly because then it doesn't feel intimidating if you're spending just like 15 minutes reading one issue.
Exactly.
And then there's letters and stuff in the back. And it's really dope.
And it's cool to get those individual covers. That's the one thing I don't like about getting trades or collections is it all flows together, which is nice, but then you're missing like the individual cool covers, especially like the special edition ones, limited editions. It's great.
Yeah.
Love comics. Speaking of properties and companies that own comic books and wrestling, sort of, a little bit, Multiverses, we talked about last week briefly. It's not a fighting game. Don't let anyone trick you. Smash Bros isn't one, so this one isn't either because it's just a Smash Bros ripoff. What if different properties smashed into each other? It's like you're a little kid with action figures just going, yeah, Superman could totally beat Batman in a fight. So yeah, I played Multiverses. We talked about it last week. Conceptually, I wanted to see what it was all about. A buddy of mine was like, Velma is the best character. They were right until she got fucking nerfed. That's what you get, Isaac.
Wow.
That's what you get for bringing it up. You spoke too highly of Velma. They heard you over at WB and People First Games or Player First Games, whatever the name of the company is. I apologize. But yeah, so I played about 11 hours of it this week. So yeah, Superman main over here. Not trying to brag or anything, but top 10,000 pretty quickly. Global 1v1 me. I'll knock you out. It's good. It feels like what if Smash Bros was made by people who haven't spent the last 25 years making different versions of that kind of game. I mean, it's floaty, it's fun, you're knocking people off of the side of buildings. The thing that's going to keep you playing this game, and I think it's the reason that the Nicktoons version of this, what was that, All Stars?
Yeah.
The reason that fell off was kind of just what is the roster? Do you like the characters, and how often are they adding new things? This has a roster. We talked about it last week in terms of things we'd like in there, like get Polly Walnuts into Multiverses, please. John Oliver beating the shit out of Tony Soprano would be funny. You said Jimmy McNulty. Who do I want? What's the senator's name? Shit.
Oh my
Cody?
God. Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah, get that guy in there. He'll commit, or Clay Davis. That's what his name is. He'll commit a little perjury after you say shit for like 2 minutes. But the current roster, it's mostly DC characters. It's like, Superman, Batman.
One
Wonder
character
Woman.
I was surprised by is Rain Dog. So Rain Dog is a reindeer dog who is an original character, and I don't like Rain Dog. I was really confused by his presence. I was like, what is this? And then I learned he was an original character, and like I don't know, I don't know. It's not a war. So now are they going to make a Rain Dog movie? Like what's the long game here of making like slipping in Rain Dog? Is someone trying to get a development deal here? Like who pitched Rain Dog? Because that's BS. Like he's not a Warner Brothers character. You could have put an Animaniac or something. I feel like Rain Dog is taking up space from another person. Or or it could be furry representation or something. I'm okay with that. There's already Bugs Bunny, which is the best. I was tempted. Did you get the battle pass?
I didn't.
Oh shoot. The last level of the battle pass is the Hildebrand like Bugs Bunny
like the orchestra
babe.
thing? Yeah.
And it's like, damn. They have like sexy Bugs Bunny costumes locked behind the thing, and it's like shit. I mean, sorry for being so coarse. Shoot. Yeah, so I don't know. I played it after we talked about it because I had so many friends playing it. And again, I said last week, I was like, man, I played the Nickelodeon one. I'm not interested. I started playing it, and the thing that really hooked me, and it's part of the reason why I play the Mortal Kombat games so much, is this game has incredible progression. Every character you play as, you're leveling up, and you can get different emotes, different skins, different perks. So the more he plays a character, they perform better, which is like, again, I've been playing a lot of Rogue Legacy, so it's like I like that kind of long run, like, oh man, the more I invest in this single character, the better I do. Just like with Rogue Legacy 2, you can level up a certain class, so they perform stronger. There's like daily challenges, daily missions. It's like constantly that dopamine of like, here's 100 points, here's an emote, here's this, and it's like, okay. Yeah, and I was like tempted where it's like, I don't think I'm not sold on the game yet to get the super premium like buy all edition, but I bought Arya Stark because I was curious, and now I'm like, well, it's only like maybe $5 more if I want Bugs Bunny, and that's how it starts. But I kind of don't mind. Again, we kind of just talked about buying single issues compared to trade paperbacks of comics, and it's like, yeah, maybe this is okay. Maybe this is the one game I do it because I don't care about the majority of the Warner Brothers stuff, but I really like Looney Tunes. And I was like, oh man, like, and it's like, dang, like because I was looking at the emotes and there's a lot of really clever fan service. I was really impressed with all the Bugs Bunny stuff. Like seeing that Hildebrand thing was like, oh my gosh. And now what sold me is one of my all-time favorite Warner Brothers properties is Gremlins. And they're adding Stripe. It shows how much of a fan I am. The bad Gremlin. They're at Stripe. I think they're adding him into Multiverses. And then I'm like, wait a minute. Now, is there going to be a different skin? Can I play as the babe gremlin? Can I play as Gizmo? Like, I am really curious to see where they go. Warner Brothers also owns Mortal Kombat. So please, if we get any more, I think we can get Mortal Kombat. Because they could also include just a Scorpion or Sub-Zero, but you could change colors, so you can be Reptile, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, etc. Like
super easy.
So this could be. I mean, I was even thinking like, oh, we should stream Multiverses. We should like play all this together. Like, I'm so down. Once we get some time for, I would love to focus more on Multiverses. Like, I don't know. I was playing it today and I was like kind of charmed by it. It did win me over. I don't know how much I'll play, but maybe with friends. But yeah, I was really surprised by it. You say you main with Superman?
Yeah, that was my go-to boy. Big fan of Superman. I mean, I dressed up as Superman when I was a kid for Halloween. Yeah. I think he's, a cool character sometimes when they write a good story around him. He's fun. I don't know who. Sorry, you were maining what? Arya Stark?
I tried Arya, but then I tried what's it called? Wonder Woman? I don't know. Yep. So maybe I'm a Bugs Bunny main at heart, but I got to play. I need Gleamium. I need more
Glimmer. That's right. That's what I think it's Gleamium. Yeah, that's a weird.
Glimmer is Destiny, I think. I need Gleamium. Yeah. So I got to try Bugs Bunny. I got to find a character. Is Taz also playable?
Taz is playable, yeah.
One thing I like is you can change the announcer. So I was flicking through them, and it's like there's a Bugs Bunny. There's like, wait, pick your character, Doc. Whatever. But then you can pick Tasmanian Devil, and it's like, what character I'm gonna play? And it's like, oh, that is amazing. Again, like the fan service in this game is so much more than that was in the Nickelodeon one. That like, dang, this is actually really surprising. And the fact that it's free to play me and crossplay means anyone can check it out. Anyone can dive into it. So yeah, Multiverses, if they add Mortal Kombat, I'm all in. But maybe I'll dabble with Bugs.
Maybe one day. I hope they do. I mean, they have so many properties. In fact, they have a lot of properties. There's been a whole list of characters that has been leaked. Oh, man. Sorry, this is probably not any of this is going to be legit. Who really knows? Some of this stuff sounds like it could make sense, but they're fun ideas and fun to look at. And some of them are pretty ridiculous. I saw one list that included Ted Lasso, which come on.
That's on Apple Plus. Is that Warner Brothers own that?
They produce it, I think is what the case was. I saw that. I was so confused.
Again, if we just say yes to everything and open our minds, I can see Ted Lasso. He could have a whistle. He could have a whistle ability that like hurts players. He could kick soccer balls. He can mock the British as a move. I don't know. I think that's just this is garbage. Whatever.
He could throw out positivity. Just be way too nice to people who will take damage.
There's co-op abilities. So that's the one thing with Rain Dog. Even though I don't like that character, Rain Dog can rein in his friends with and then Ted Lasso could have a lasso. He could team up with Wonder Woman or something. But then I was also just thinking, what is it? Warner Brothers also produced all the Stanley Kubrick films, so we could get
shit.
2001 Monkey, The Monolith.
Yeah, get Hal in there. Yeah.
Yeah, get what is it? Alec from Clockwork Orange, or Jack from The Shining, or someone
Jack
from Full
would be
Metal.
good.
Yeah, right. Jack would be really dope. So
Yeah.
I also like am stoked, or it's like the confidence where it's like this is season 1. Like we're gonna have so many more seasons. That's like yes, let's do it. I do want to see Animaniacs though, and just have a full on like the Warner Brothers Water Tower lot, or just get Steven Spielberg, even though he's with Universal. I don't know why. I don't know. Just why not get some filmmakers in there?
Totally. Just put Steven Spielberg in there. He'll just like get a bunch of money. Put George Lucas in there. He's not even related to Warner Brothers, but why not, right? He'll just make everyone CG.
That's how big the Multiverses is. Yeah. But if we want to talk about another, crossover versus?
Yes.
So the competing multiverses, one that I have sunk hundreds of gleamium into, maybe 1,000 gleamium. I don't know. I would have to calculate it.
1,000 real life gleamium.
I think under 1,000 gleamium, but more than hundreds, somewhere in between. Dragon Ball Z has come to Fortnite, which is something that people had over delivered, which is insane, because like I would say a year ago, Fortnite started experimenting with anime skins, and they would just do original characters. And it was like, oh, they actually kind of nailed this art style. That's interesting. And they would drip out these just generic anime characters. And then and then they added Naruto like a few months ago as playable skins. And people were like, that's amazing. This is crazy. And then people are always like, oh man, they should add Dragon Ball Z. They should add Goku. And then, rumors came out, and I think it was confirmed. This is a full-on Dragon Ball Z update where it's not just the characters in the game, but the weapons in Fortnite are now fully Dragon Ball Z. You can have the flying Nimbus cloud,
cool.
For the little flying thing from Dragon Ball. So you can pop the cloud and you jump up and you can glide on the cloud. And I don't think it gives you fall damage either. The coolest item in the game is they have the Kamehameha in Fortnite, and it's
Can
so
anyone
amazing.
use it?
Anyone can use it. You pick it up. It has 3 charges. So it's like it's the equivalent. I mean, it's a giant hyper beam. So if you see someone on the other side of the map, you like what I do. The strat is you build a tall tower so you can get high up. You build up or just jump up or pop your flying Nimbus cloud and then switch to the Kamehameha. This is advanced strats. But try to crank 90s, build a huge tower, and then once you have a huge vantage point, you just look for other people, and now you're like a Kamehameha sniper, and then you charge it, and it makes the entire screen blue for also the person who's targeted by it.
Oh, shit.
So then, you turn the screen blue, and then it charges. It has that anime noise, like, and then it's just this massive beam, and you can also like angle it in different directions. So, so it's so satisfying getting kills with the Kamehameha. And so that I always appreciate in Fortnite when they have crossovers, when they also change the game world, change the items in the game. So I only played maybe an hour or 2 of it. I got Bulma. There's Bulma, Beerus, Vegeta, and Goku. And I think even Goku, you can change his costume so he can be at different levels of Super Saiyan. Bulma can be a scientist or her default. But yeah, the one funny thing seeing DBZ in Fortnite, because there's a lot of Dragon Ball Z fans, is how many people I've seen on social media being like, wow, Fortnite's actually really good. And I'm like, yeah, I've been
good.
I've been screaming this for 5 years, even though I only started playing in like 2019 or 2020. I've been saying this my whole life. Fortnite's the best game ever. So come on board, walk in. Yeah, I love Fortnite. It really is fantastic. So it was really fun to play Dragon Ball Z and Fortnite. I'm going to play more. I'm trying to think if there's any other confirmed properties or crossovers. Not yet. We've said it. I still want Family Guy in Fortnite.
Yep.
But now with all these competing Multiverses games, maybe Multiverses gets the Family Guy property. Whoever gets Family Guy first wins.
I agree. You're actually 100% correct there. That'll be the thing that'll get me to play any game for the rest of my life, is if you put Peter Griffin and Stewie Griffin in it. Brian even, I'll be happy with if you just put the dog in there.
If you can level them up in Multiverses, oh my gosh. Yeah, then get the Simpsons in Multiverses. So again, this is a new thing. Multiverses could start swallowing up these properties. Assuming Warner Brothers has the money for it, but also Fortnite, Epic. I don't know.
Yeah. Put Family Guy in Injustice 3 so that they can have like armor and equipment that they got to put on and stuff. Peter Griffin wearing a helmet, just getting into fights against like the Joker. That'd be amazing.
Oh, that would be sick. Oh my gosh.
So with Goku and who else is in there? It's Vegeta and Beerus?
Yeah, and Bulma.
Nice. Yeah. Are you just going full Goku? You got a full Goku squad with the homies, the big dogs?
So I was Bulma, a friend was Vegeta, one was Goku, and one was John Cena.
Perfect. Yeah.
So it's like,
that's my favorite episode.
Yeah, I adore it. And at this point, like, we have so many Fortnite skins. We still have Alien, we have Predator, we have Terminator. That's why I was kind of sad that Multiverses got Gremlins, because I really wanted to play as Gizmo in Fortnite. And I was like, oh, they got them first.
Yeah, maybe they'll do that one day. Like, you could use the same model for Stewie Griffin, so maybe that'll be the lead up to Family Guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's actually really cool to see. I know there's like this ambivalence towards companies owning all properties ever. Like the media conglomerate is scary. And of course it is. But there's also, if we're going to get this happening anyways, the brief moment of seeing Venom use the Kamehameha and getting the dub and then hitting the griddy is like, that's kind of what I've always wanted as a child. If you told 12-year-old me that Goku was going to be doing rap dance moves while rap music played, I don't know what I'd do, man. This is amazing. This is all I've ever wanted in life. And here it is right now. Like, I don't know. It's fucking sick.
It's truly joyous. It's also definitely a reflection of like the TikTok generation where everything's a remix of a remix of a remix of a remix. But instead of being a hater, you can be like, man, this rules.
Yeah. Just lavish in it for 5 seconds. Just try to find some fun in this slowly decaying capitalist world that we live in. The cult of personality that we're existing in. Speaking of cults, did you know that there's this new video game that came out recently? Frank, you may have played it yourself. I believe you did. I know I did. I think I did. Cult of the Lamb is the hot new roguelike. Frank, you played that this week, yeah?
This really is like a surprise hit of the year. I had no like anticipation leading up to it. I think a few people here on the podcast and other friends like, hey, that's coming out. That looks good. And I was like, yeah, okay, sure. I feel like there's so many games it's hard for me to like keep up. So I don't know. I'm always open to stuff, but I was like, yeah, maybe. And then I think I saw two people. I think you were one of them on Twitter, like immediately being like, "It's game rules." And my friend Ryan played like 12 hours day one. And I was like, let me check this out. I started playing it, and now it's like, oh man, I think I spent 6 to 8 hours, like Sunday and Monday, and like just playing it. Oh my gosh, Jesse, like you're probably even deeper into it. How would you even begin to describe this game?
Oh, God. That's tough because it's doing a lot of things, but it's doing a lot of them very well. Cult of the Lamb is 50% a roguelike action game in the style of Binding of Isaac. You get hearts, you get soul hearts, you get corrupted hearts, that sort of thing. There's like visual comparisons. It's got the kind of religious elements that both games have. There's a crossover there. You're doing melee combat through these randomly organized rooms that have different things in them, upgrades that you get along the way, so you become stronger from the beginning of your run to the end of the run. It is a good time. There's different regions that have different enemies that have different attacks and different visual styles, and there's mini bosses to fight and full bosses to fight. So it's a good time on its own. I think it is lacking a little bit in depth, but that's fine because there's another half of the game, and this is sort of where the narrative conceit comes in. So like the game starts out where you're playing as a lamb, can you believe it? And you are being sacrificed, as all lambs are, and you're being sacrificed to this god who's called, what's the name again? It's like the one who watches or whatever, something like that. Really like, culty kind of things going on, and it saves you. And it's like, you're going to be my new deity on earth. You're going to take care of all these people. I'm going to give you this power where you can control people and corrupt them and make them do your bidding. So you become the cult leader of your own cult. And that's where the second half of the game comes in. It's like sort of a colony sim, I think is how a lot of people are describing it, which is fair. Over time, after defeating mini bosses in the roguelike mode, you get followers. And you can also find followers just while you're going around in the roguelike mode. You don't have to beat a boss to find one. And you can control these people to do basic tasks. It starts off with you using them to cut down trees to collect lumber, and also mining stones to collect rocks to collect stone, whatever. And you use these resources to craft upgrades, to create buildings, and to automate certain aspects of the game. So maybe you'll want to start growing food, but like collecting the food every time the food's ready to be collected is a little bit annoying. So you want to automate it so that your characters can do that. So you keep building upgrades, and there's devotion that you collect from them as they all pray to the statue of you that they've built in the middle of the cult. And there's so many aspects to it, so many things that you're doing that end up being a feedback loop between the roguelike element and the colony sim. Like your stats increase, so now you collect more stuff while you're doing the roguelike part, and then you use those resources to make it. So it's a really good time. I think it's a lot of fun. It's been a long time since I've played a game that like kept me up all night exclusively on the basis of like this thing is incrementing ever so slightly more. It's like, I can't go to bed yet. This thing's going to level up. And there's so many of those things in Cult of the Lamb that it really keeps you coming back. It's not, like I said, the roguelike part's not super deep. The colony sim part's not incredibly deep either. But I think that's because it's not supposed to be a roguelike you play for 100 hours. It's supposed to be something you start and finish 14, 15 hours, maybe. It's just a good time. I had a lot of fun with it. Frank, you played it. You're not done it yet, but you've been enjoying it, yeah?
Yeah, I think I've only cleared, I think there's like 4 like wings or 4 mega bosses. So I killed the first mega boss and now I'm in the second area. But now I'm like, oh no, I got to start going back to the first area because every time you die, your followers lose faith in you.
Yes.
And I got really greedy when I was playing because every time I would do a run, I would just want to get more and more followers. And now my cult is falling apart. I don't have enough beds. Everyone's puking. Everyone's crapping everywhere. No one has any faith in me. I'm out of resources, so it's like I'm now at that point. I remember when I played Viva Pinata like a decade ago, or even almost a decade and a half ago. I was like, this game is awesome, and then it hit a point where all my animals were eating each other, and it's like, this is too stressful. I can't do it. Cult of the Lamb is so good. But it's like, oh, it's. I got so deep into it, and now I'm like, oh no, my cult is falling apart. So I got to make some sacrifices. But yeah, it's so fun because I had the same thought where it's like, oh, I could stay up all night and play this, and that hasn't happened with a game. I don't. To me, I think this year, unless if I'm doing capture stuff for Noclip, like naturally, it's like, yeah, I'll play Rogue Legacy until I'm too tired. Let's go.
Totally, yeah. Getting paid.
But Cult of the Lamb really is. Really great and surprising. It's kind of fun going into a game blind. It also scratches that same itch as like Hades, where it's like, oh man, every run, kind of pick a different weapon. You're getting rewarded. You're trying different stuff. It's really, really cool. The soundtrack is really like,
so good. Yep.
It's really relaxing, and that's on Apple Music, so I've been having that on. The art style, so the animation and art style is interesting because at first, if you just see a screenshot, I'm like, it's cute, but I don't know, I don't like it. Seeing it in motion, the way everything animates and like the effects and stuff really, really works. It's also that balance of like really cute, but then there's satanic imagery. It works. I really, really like it. And I was totally surprised by it. Cult of the Lamb, it's really good.
Yeah, it's super surprising. I knew it was going to be good when I played the demo, but I didn't think it was going to be something that would have legs. I thought like I'd play the first couple hours and it would kind of go through everything. But as you continue to progress, like you said, there's a management sim aspect to it outside of just having these followers. You do have to maintain your faith so that they don't stop believing in you, and then you have a harder time leveling things up and getting access to different upgrades and stuff like that. And you start to lose followers if your faith goes too low because there's people who are dissenters and then you have to put them in prison so that they're not dissenting everyone. So you have to build a jail to put these beautiful little creatures in. Like, it's a very cute game that rubs up against a very dark concept of running a cult, which, I mean, how quickly do you get tired of that idea? That depends on who you are. Did you like Happy Tree Friends? I did, unfortunately. I was 8 years old on YouTube and I shouldn't have been watching that. But there's a lot of cool stuff going on. There's a lot of like, not particularly biting commentary on what cults are, but like, it's funny. It just is a very funny game in terms of shock. Like, you'll get to a certain point, it's like you can build propaganda megaphones to make sure that your followers are still believing in you, and it's like, these are cute little creatures from the forest that I saved. Why do I need to build a propaganda machine?
It's also like Animal Crossing, where the animations and their emotes are so funny because if a follower doesn't like you, they'll be a little like strong frowning. They'll have like almost like fuming or like rain clouds above their head. If they're smile, they're glowing, just like an Animal Crossing, like when you do something pleasant. So it's it's a fun inversion of like the typical Animal Crossing cutesiness. It's genuinely really surprising, and I don't know if this team made other games. It's published by Devolver Digital, and I feel like anything they release usually has this stamp of like, I always kind of consider Devolver to be like the Adult Swim of gaming, where it's like, okay, it's got this like little bit of attitude. It's solid, but it's really good. Even like right before we went live to record this podcast, I was like, oh, I wish I had like a little bit of time to play more Cult of the Lamb, so I could even speak on it better. Now because my followers are losing faith, it's like, oh, maybe it's better to grind the first world a little bit more. Again, I just need more beds. I need more resources. And then once my followers are in a good place, then I go down number 2. It's always really satisfying. You can, in the center of the town, you build a giant shrine, and your followers are, praying their devotion to you, and you collect that devotion to level up. You could do sermons. So there's so many. Again, we talked about progression. Same reason I was kind of impressed with Multiverses. There's so many layers and skill trees and things to level up. So you're always making progress. You just got to do a little maintenance to scoop up the poop, and then you're good.
Yeah, there is a lot of poop scooping that you're doing in this game. You do play a little bit of a janitor, poop and puke. You're cleaning up after these people that you have to take care of because you need them for your stats to go up and everything. What's been your approach with the cultists when they come in? Because like there's a lot of customization. Whenever you find someone, you can totally change their style. There's probably 100 different forms you can give them. Like you can make them look like a giraffe or Cthulhu if you pre-ordered the game, or rabbits and bunnies and mice. It's adorable. And you can give them custom names and change their colors and everything. What's been your approach, Frank? Are you naming everyone after something from anything? Or?
Yeah, so anytime I've been playing it, usually I'll be Twitch streaming it. So I've just or sharing it in Discord. So it's just whoever's with me or chatting at the time, I'll just put them in the cult, and I'll kind of like pick their animal or color based on their personality or stuff like that. So it's just like I was in a Discord call one night with 5 friends. So each of those 5 friends I added. I had a friend die, so I made a new one. I just named it like Junior after them, and I don't know. It's charming because then it's like, all of my friends are here in my little village.
And I'm their cult leader of my friends.
Yeah. It's cool. You can also give your followers gifts and things like that, and it's just, man, there's so many layers, and I'm sure. Like, part of me is like, man, I hope we get to cover this for Noclip, because it's like, if I did a new game, I'm sure I would appreciate it so much more. And because I feel like when I play games, especially if I'm not sold on it, I'll kind of like mash through tutorials. Like, yeah, okay, let me see if this is good. Yeah. And now I'm like, so I feel like I screwed up in making my town because my resource management is so bad right now. It feels like Age of Empires, like when you're getting invaded and it's like I don't have enough walls or something like that, and it's like, oh no. But hopefully I can save it. I was bummed. Like I was like, I didn't spend that much time. I'm sure on Steam there's good walkthroughs. I do this every time I get hooked on a game, and this shows you how good the game is. Is like when I'm really hooked on a game, I'll follow that game's like Reddit or subreddit. But I was bummed because the subreddit, usually with some games, there's a lot of like guides. Like I feel like Destiny has a really good community where people are writing guides or tips. The Cult of Lamb Reddit has just been like memes and joke pictures, and it's like, I want to learn how to play this game. Like I get it. Yeah, there's poop in the game. How do I not screw up my town?
Right. How do I maximize my stats? I don't need to know that you named your bunny Bunny. That's very funny.
It's all memes like that. Like, look what I named my cult, and it's like, cool. But hey, the fact that people are doing it and flocking to it, it's cool. But yeah,
flocking to it.
Right. I gotta min max my cult.
Yeah. That's what Jim Jones did wrong. He didn't min max his stats enough to hold on to them. Speaking of cults in particular, by the way, you can name your cult, Frank. What did you name yours? I think I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, I named mine Faku.
Of course, right.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised all your characters aren't named after like anime, the hot anime babes. You know what I mean?
Oh man, yeah. So it's just all my followers are Faku. I am a Faku. That was one weird thing at Anime Expos. I ran into the head of like marketing at Faku, and I was like, "Can I be a Faku partner? Sure,
please."
So there we go.
It's the start of the partnership.
Oh, I love it. I can't. Right now I'm representing Noclip, so I won't say check out Faku. But if you like comic books, man. It's the best kind of comics there
are. For me, I named my cult Emerge. Now, there's a story for this. I'll keep it brief. I don't want to name any names. I don't want to out anybody. You're not going to find anything Googling it, I promise you. Maybe you will if you get really lucky and you've pieced together information about me from previous podcast episodes. But so when I was in high school, I had this buddy, we'll call him Phil, and he invited me to go to this youth group. And I was like, sure, like, why not, right? I mean, something to do after school. They would do sports and we'd watch movies and we'd do a little prayer. I'm not a particularly religious person myself, but what the hell? I'll bow my head and hold my hands together. And then after a couple years of being there, there was this news report that one of the national news, I'm being very careful, national news agencies did like an expose on an old version of the church that I was going to. And it turned out that it was like a massive cult. And one of the women was like kidnapped, and I was hanging out with her and we were like having conversations and we were friends. And like, I found out like, oh my God, her parents kidnapped her to like deprogram her from this place I was in. And I haven't been there in 10 years, but, yikes, not great.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
that's terrible. That's why I never leave my room. You're safe. Well, actually, there's cults online too.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez, I didn't even know Canada had cults. I thought it was like the nicest, safest place in the world.
No, man, it's gotten worse and worse. It sucks up here. I hate it. Everything you've got with Donald Trump, we've got it up here.
No,
just as
really?
Bad. Oh yeah, big Trump fans up here, so it's the same cult sort of thing.
Well, I know in like even was it in like Montreal, Quebec, there were all those. There was some crazy protests and stuff going on. I don't know, man. That's why you can make a happy cult in Cult of the Lamb. Even though we sacrifice people, it's still feels nice. It's your cult. You can make be the good cult, be the outliers of cults.
There's something oxymoronic about the benevolent cult leader, though, eh?
Yeah.
It's
that's how they get you.
Yeah, exactly. They're so nice. Oh, they want to marry me. Well, I mean, that's not so bad, right?
Oh man. In discussing Cults of the Lamb, my friends and I were chatting about Wild Wild Country. Have you seen that documentary series on Netflix?
No, I haven't.
It came out like in 2018, but it was about this like guru. I believe from India, set up a cult in Oregon, and it is such a wild story. It's also what led to they wanted to elect this person in charge of the government in Oregon. So on election day, they got him on the ballot, and on election day, they poisoned all of the buffets
Holy
and like
shit.
fast food restaurants in this town of Oregon. And it led to like 700 some people getting salmonella. It's such an insane story. So we're not doing that here with our cult. Although you can cook food in the game, and it does lead to your followers getting sick.
That's
so
true.
I haven't beaten the game, but maybe you can't win if you're leading a cult. I would love a weird ending like that where it's like, nah, man, you still made a cult. I got to know what this ending is like.
Yeah, you'll be pleasantly surprised. I think it's a pretty cool ending. And speaking of feeding your followers stuff, you can make them a bowl of poop, which is a good bit. Very funny. Thank you, Massive Monster, for putting this game together. If you want to check it out yourself, it's on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation, Switch. It's $29.99 or something like that. Worth every penny.
Well, totally worth it because I was like, man, I thought it'd be a Game Pass game or PlayStation Play, and I don't mean to be like dismissive because I know everyone works super hard on making these games, and so I bought it and was like, man, yeah, this game rules. So again, we kind of talk about with indie games and like the B game and stuff like that, where it's like it's nice that you can get lost in a nice like dozen-hour game. When you didn't even know you needed it most. But Cult of the Lamb, because we did the mid game of the year check-in, and now I would safe to say Cult of the Lamb is like probably like my third, at least my top 3 games of the year so far.
Yeah, it's pretty up there.
That's good.
New games, hot new stuff. There's lots of stuff coming out. We keep talking about this every week. It feels like it's been an impending release. But Saints Row is just around the corner. Frank, how excited are you on a 1 to 10 scale?
I'm gonna give myself an 8. I was burned.
Nice.
I was burned on the last Volition game, Agents of Mayhem, just because I still played it and put 30 hours into it, but I didn't love it. But I love those Saints Row games. I think they're really funny. And even there was a story reveal trailer, but I want to go in blind. I'm hoping it's good, but even if the story or dialogue doesn't click with me, I'm still hoping the gameplay's good, and maybe the story. I hope the cutscenes and missions are super nuts. But I pre-ordered it. I was just surprised. The PS5 version's $60, not $70. So it's like, oh, okay. Thank you for cutting me a little deal.
How nice of you.
Yeah, right. I bought it co-op. I don't know what was I thinking when I created characters. I have this there's this character from a public access 90s show called Video Games and More who has like a backwards hat, long hair, and like flannels, and I might make that guy as my main character in Saints Row. But I was trying to think who else I wanted to make in Saints Row. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to see the day of. Anytime you play games where you get to customize it, it's like whatever I'm into in that moment. So whatever I'm into that Tuesday, what is it, the 23rd or whatever that game released? No, I think it comes out Monday 9 p.m. So I don't know. Whatever I'm into that Monday could be the thing I'll make my character based on.
Fred Durst and Saints Row.
Oh man, Dad vibes. Fred Durst would be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would love it. Because they put out the Boss Maker where you can create your own character. So yeah, I don't know what I want to make. Camel Joe would be cool. If you can have a camel, that would be sick.
Yeah, even if you can't think of anything, you can download people's own, like their own characters that they made. They're custom made characters, or they can upload them, and there's like a whole gallery to pick from.
Okay, so if someone made a cool jigsaw or something. Yeah, okay. I'll have to take a look around. I do like those games you can change at any time, change your customization. Yeah. It's just fun having a silly cartoon open world to drive around that doesn't take itself too seriously.
Totally. Yeah, because I mean, the last big open world game that was like this was, I don't know, Red Dead Redemption was horses.
Yeah.
Like the last car open world game was probably Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because it's like, I think it's just off the top of my head, like that Spider-Man game was so amazing.
Oh, yeah. Amazing.
That was so good. And I think that just came out to PC. So if you haven't played it, please check it out. It's amazing. Ghost of Tsushima was great, but that wasn't like a comedy game. But Ghost of Tsushima, Oh, that was like perfect. I think I got the platinum in that, which doesn't happen often for me. But
me too.
Yeah, that game was amazing. Although if they did that's what I would love if Volition, if they did their version of Red Dead. Like Red Dead's already really funny, but if they, I don't know, or just put Saints Row in the Wild West or do Back to the Future stuff. But yeah, riding a horse around would be nuts. But maybe that
they
tech
could
would
do
be
that.
crazy.
Cowboys and Aliens, right? There was that movie with whoever the hell.
Yeah,
you could just do that again with Saints Row, but just put them in the 1840s or whatever.
And then, so speaking of other games coming out, Destroy All Humans 2 remake comes out like in a week or two. Just finished the first one, so I'll check it out. I hope that's fun. But the game I'm really excited to check out on PS4, PS5, and Steam is Roller Drome, which just barely looked at it, but it looks like I don't know, like Tony Hawk with guns or Jet Set with guns. It looks super cool.
Yes, that is the perfect description. It's a new game from Roll7, studio behind the Ollie games. Yeah, they just put out Ollie World earlier this year. Fantastic side-scrolling 3D, but like 2.5D kind of skateboarding game. It's in the same style as the older ones, Ollie and Ollie 2. It's Ollie World is a lot of fun. It's about grinding and doing tricks, and it's like Tony Hawk, but just 2 dimensions instead of 3. This, on the other hand, is the same idea, but what if Tony Hawk's Underground had guns? You're doing backflips, you're doing spins, you're grabbing onto your rollerblades and kind of spinning around. The central conceit for the narrative is that you're a participant in this murder game that takes place in the year 2030. They gave it a hard date, which, you know, they're probably not wrong given how everything's going so far. But yeah, 2030, you're playing as this character that's involved in this new game. And the game is you're a roller skater that's trying to fight for your life against these other competitors who also have guns. And you're trying to perform these tricks. And the tricks, the reason you do them isn't just to maximize your score, to like get on the leaderboards and complete these challenges that they give you. You're also doing it because that's how you reload your gun. So if you run out of ammo, you can't just like press the reload button. You got to do a fucking sick trick. And the sicker your trick, the more bullets you get. And it's really cool. When you do a trick and you aim and you perfectly dodge at an enemy, you get a super slow-mo where you can like zoom in and target different people. It's sick. It's very cool. It's a very like, how well can you perform the actions in this game kind of game, not something that you'll just quickly run through. It's the sort of game that like once you finish it, you should probably play it from the start again because you'll have more fun with it. Yeah.
Oh man, you just sold me on it even more. Oh boy. Yes.
It's good. It's totally a Frank Howley game.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Tony Hawk fan. Yeah. Is that it for the rest? No. Immortality at the end of the month. I keep talking about it. I will continue to talk about it. I'll talk about it when it's out. I got a 10 out of 10 from Edge, which is, I guess, a big deal. I don't know. I don't read gaming magazines. But it looks fantastic. New game from Sam Barlow. It's about match cutting stuff. This is my like 14th time talking about it. I cannot wait. Her story was great. I loved it. Telling Lies was awesome. This is going to be just as good, if not better. I can already tell. I can't wait. Oh, wow. So good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll want to hear your review because I never played Her Story. This looks cool. I've like, so the premise is, it's about a film star. She made 3 movies, but none of the movies were ever released. An interactive trilogy. So like, I feel like this is gonna scratch my film nerd brain. So if I go into this not like a video game, if I go into this like, some crazy like interactive indie film, this is nuts.
Yeah, that's how they pitch it.
Really cool.
Like when you watch all their trailers and stuff, or when they did the Tribeca Games Fest, I think during the Summer Games Fest, not the Summer of Games that we celebrate. They were like straight faced, like this is a real thing that actually happened. This is footage that we found that really was created, and then we stitched it together, and that's the game you're playing. So if you go into it completely like buying the premise and looking into it seriously, like, I don't know, man. I think you're going to have a really good time with it, especially with everything that you do in school and everything with Noclip. We love found footage here.
The Steam page is genius too, because there's 3 films, 1968, and it has that very much that was it Saul Bass, the Alfred Hitchcock graphic design poster, like Vertigo. 1970 looks like a 1970s like exploitation or art film, and then 1999, like that poster looks something like Eyes Wide Shut. Like they're completely nailing the aesthetic. So it's like, it feels like when Wes Anderson does some of his more recent films where, like, depending on the year, he'll use a different aspect ratio or like film grain.
Oh, right,
it's like, this looks so dope. And there is a mature content description, adult themes, including sex and violence. So you put that in a video game? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's my favorite thing. They say it at the beginning of every episode of Family Guy. So that's how I know it's my favorite.
Oh my gosh. Man. Cool, Jesse. Thank you again for always putting these indie games on the map. Again, Cult of the Lamb. Like, Oh my gosh, what a dope game.
Seriously, I only fuck with Heat. That's all I know, you know? I only play games that are good. That's my rule, except for the odd time that I don't, but that never happens. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I think this year has been good for indie games. If you're a big fan of them, it's just nonstop.
Yeah, let the other stuff shine. I appreciate it. And good for backlogs too. So, man, it's always nice getting some surprises. Again, Jeff Keighley, the summer of games, it never ends. Thank you so much.
Is that the pause or anything else you want to talk about, Frank?
I think that's it for now. It'll be fun to have the whole crew back soon. And yeah, again, like I think we announced it on Twitter, but yeah, it was fun to work on a bunch of the Rogue Legacy 2 stuff. Finally, I feel like I finally talk about how fun that game was because there's a lot of games on Noclip will play where we haven't announced the project yet, so I won't talk about it or discuss it on Steam. But you were someone who you went through all of Rogue Legacy 2 like a while ago, I believe. But yeah, now I'm in like the new game plus phase and I'm parking it. But I think like once I get my Steam Deck, oh my gosh, that's gonna be the perfect game to play.
Perfect.
Because there's so many classes and they all play so differently and it's so rewarding to play. Like I want to now just do a boxer only run. Like, if I could just pick I don't know. There's different things I want to try out. And I think that's
Did you go to that one? Sorry, there's a room that you can go to that like will allow you to lock in a character when you die and you get to pick a new one. Go to the like training room where they showed you there's like these little secret extra side things you can do. If you go upstairs, there's a person you can talk to or to the side or something in that room where you can unlock a thing that like locks in a character and locks in a weapon and locks in a spell. So do that stuff because it lets it takes away that complete randomness because you do kind of want to play it a specific way because boxer is the best class. So
wow, I didn't know that was a feature, and I have like 20 or I have so many hours in that game. See, that's great. That's that's the fun thing with it. We talked about we talked about the project of adopting an early access game. So if you I still have to adopt an early access
I was
game.
looking. I was trying to figure it out. There's so many.
If there's, email us, podcast@noclip.video.
Yes.
Let us know if there's any cool early access games, or if you have any stories on your side. Did you adopt an early access game? Did it turn out to be a hit? Were you in the very first version of Hades? Let us know.
Yeah. Did you make any changes? Did you make a suggestion that ended up in a game? That'd be cool to hear about for sure. Yeah.
Man, well, we're early access Multiverses. We're in season 1, year 1. We're going to see, will Family Guy come here or Fortnite? Place your bets.
Podcast@noclip.video. Send them in. Send in your over-unders on that. But yeah, while you're here, thanks so much for listening. Check out our docs. We got a new episode of the Jane Dev series. I've been hyping that up for the last couple weeks. It's finally out. You can finally watch it. YouTube.com/noclipcrewvideo video to check that one out. It's really fantastic. I think it's easily one of the best things I've watched this year, apart from part 1 of that series. I think Jeremy does really great work in general, but that in particular, really, he bears his soul and tells you all about creativity and why it's so beautiful. So check that out if you haven't watched the whole series. It's really good stuff. There's also the Hyperlife Development first episode is still out. You can still watch it. youtube.com/noclipvideo. Very, very good. The second one should be up eventually at some point. We're not stopping the series. Danny will be back, and he's the arbiter of content, so he'll be able to put everything out, including a new episode of Developer Breakdown, probably sometime soon on Weird West. It's a pretty good one, I think. Interview with Rafael Colantonio. Very cool stuff. What an interesting game, by the way. There's been like tons of updates for Weird West over time where they gave it like a plague mode and they like gave it a blood mode. They added these unique weapons and unique items and stuff that like have very specific abilities, which is really cool. Like that's awesome, right? Could have been a game that just came out and like you get what you get, but no, they keep adding stuff to it. It's great. I love it. It's very cool. Hopefully we'll get to follow up with them in a year or two and see all the cool things they've done and talk to them about that. That would be really interesting. I think we're doing a movie review on Yakuza this month, the live action movie that came out, Japanese only, but there are subtitles so we don't have to learn a whole language to watch a movie. That's nice. You can do that. Patreon.com/noclip. Fund the documentaries, fund the podcast, fund the Discord. We need money to keep the Discord open. It's not free. I'm kidding. And keep up with us on Twitter @noclipvideo. I'm @Garasha. That's GUARAS like Sam, CIA. I haven't done that in a little while, so I got to keep everyone updated. And @Frank Halley. Follow Frank on Twitter for fun updates on expos and great pictures of him being stepped on. It's a good time over at Twitter.
I didn't even review Ronin Expo, which was a anime fair held in a gymnasium.
What?
It was. Yeah, what is it? If you have nothing nice to say, don't say it at all. Anyways, But
Okay.
hey, man, yeah, good times.
Good call on ending that one. Yeah, I watched your Big Dog stream actually. It was an archived one where you were like reviewing a bunch of anime expos or just expos in general, and I was like, oh my god.
I just had a tweet go viral where we've been going through the photo archives of Dragon Con, and that is the most hardcore cosplay I've ever seen. We looked at Dragon Con 1999, which there was a masquerade skit called the Sith Who Shagged Me, and it was a cross of Austin Powers in Star Wars Episode 1. So there's a photograph of Darth Maul, Queen Amidala, or Princess Amidala, whatever, Fat Bastard, Dr. Evil, and Austin Powers, all in the same photo. There's another photograph of a bunch of Klingons from Star Trek and the Animaniacs.
Wow.
I adore. I found out Flickr, you can just time travel to any convention, including all the anime expos. I legitimately love fandom. I love cosplay. I love seeing, people keep, these stories alive, and I legitimately find it so charming and inspiring. And I think that's why I go to conventions now and take photos, because it's so passionate and sweet, and I just love seeing unique representation of fandom. So yeah, I am like so fascinated with conventions, because I also feel it's sincere. It's like it's where the internet comes to life, or it's like where all of your like everyone consumes all these like comics, films, TVs, games kind of independently by themselves. Now with streaming or Discord, you can share that. But when you go to convention, it's like, oh, you like the same stuff I like. And there's kind of this like, I feel like you can let your guard down. I really like being at conventions, because it's just like, oh, like, I don't know, everyone's here and cool. And I feel like at some of the better run conventions like PAX, it's like people do such a good job of making sure it's a safe space, that people are respected. Like there's enforcers and stuff. And there's, I don't know, it's like legitimately a good time. And I feel like as someone who went, I never got into sports or stuff as a kid, so I feel like I didn't have places to like go hang out that wasn't just like my friends' houses. But when you go to conventions, it's like, man, this is just fun to hang out and chat.
Yeah, everyone else is a nerd like me. I love it. Yeah, like legitimately, like not in a. I know I tend to be a little sarcastic, but like that is for real. Like it's nice to be around a group of people that are just unequivocally themselves. They don't feel like they need to pretend that they're not totally nerdy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, dude, I watched football. Shut up. Nobody watched football. No one watched it. Just enjoy it.
So that's why when you see like a hyper specific cosplay, it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, it's nuts. There was one cosplay at Dragon Con 1999. I don't know if like someone did a cosplay of Garth Ennis's The Pro, which was like a one shot. It basically feels like the prequel to The Boys, where it's about like a superhero prostitute. Like again, it's very much The Boys. It's Garth Ennis, but someone did a straight up costume of that, and it's like I don't know if I've even met anyone else who's read that comic. But the fact that someone cosplayed that in 1999 or whatever year that was like whoa. So shouts out Garth.
So cool.
Yeah,
Holy
right.
Shit. I love
there's
that.
like. Yeah, I mean, there's a way deep, like, you'll see other stuff in video games and stuff, but it's like, I don't know, it's also way cool anytime you see comic book cosplays of stuff that hasn't been adapted to, like, TV or film. It's like, whoa, I don't know, I mean, that's why I freaked out when I saw Gunslinger spawn at, at Wizard World in Anaheim. It was like, whoa, this is, like, Spawn's big, but Gunslinger Spawn, that's very specific.
Yeah, there's that one con you went to that had the neon white
yes,
cosplay.
Yeah, even that, like week 2 of the game being out. It was like, whoa.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you cosplay or have any stories, let us know if there's any conventions to check out. I got to check out Dragon Con now. It's a hardcore old school convention, but it takes place the same weekend at PAX. I got to go to CTE2 in Chicago, and then is it Fan Expos up in Canada? I got to explore more. I got to go, is it Toronto, Vancouver?
It's Toronto, yeah. I'm going there next week, actually.
Really?
Yep, to Fan Expo. We're going to experience that. The walls of Funko Pop. It's just, that's like most of it.
Take pictures, have fun. I want to hear Jesse's report on a convention. Seriously, it's the best. I love it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's going to be a good time. Last time I went to that convention, there was an Among Us guy, and I yelled Among Us, and then everyone turned and stared at me, so can't wait for that.
The Nirvana the Band guys usually always go, or they've had panels. Like I think they did a screening of a season 3 episode years ago. Like,
what do you mean a season 3 episode? So
Nirvana the Band, the show, they shot season 3, and then Vice got shut down or sold. So season 3 has been in the vaults for years. And I think they shot an episode either at Comic-Con or Fan Expo. So it's like someone please, we are just, I don't know, find Matt Johnson's hard drive. I don't know. We need Nirvana the Band season 3.
My mouth is agape.
Yeah, so that's real. Like, look, yeah. So anyways, hopefully you run into Matt Johnson and Jay or run into him. But
I'm
Oh,
gonna
man.
harass them. I watched the second season or the first season, the last episode. You know that episode where they're in the bank?
The John Cena? Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like freaking out and they're trying to fight each other, and they like there's a whole thing that happens at the end. That was filmed down the street from my house. Like I walk past that not a bank anymore bank constantly. I love that show.
My favorite is they're doing graffiti on the roof and there's other people seeing them and it's like, oh, don't worry, we're just doing Fresh Prince over here. Just doing Fresh Prince. And they sprays his armpits. And it's like, the fact that joke even translates is like, that's such a specific visual.
So dumb. Love it though.
Just doing Fresh Prince.
If you're not a fan of Nirvana Man the show, please watch it. It's so good. Viceland, if you're in Canada, if you're in America, figure it out. Download it illegally. I didn't say that. Thanks you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Well, hopefully with a more full crew, but whatever the case may be, I've enjoyed talking to Frank Howley this week about everything going on, everything video games, summer of gaming. It never ends, baby.
We could end it like Mark Maron does his podcast. Like, yeah, man, that was good. We good? We good? All right. Thanks, bud. I'm gonna play guitar. Boomer lives. Pow! Stamps.com. Thanks, folks.